Well,
I can mouth a lot of curse words and not get in trouble because they can't hear me.
Tim, can you give me an audio check?
you were saying puppies.
Thanks,
and
buddy.
ducks.
All right. So what games do you like,
I
Todd?
see Joe's face all up in my phone right now.
All right, so favorite games. Big fan of shmups. I like fighters. Those are obviously fun. A lot of couch co-op type stuff is good for me.
What's a shmup, Todd? I don't.
A shmup is a little airplane that got dodge and shoot stuff. Well, that's the best way to put it. Am I wrong?
AKA Galaxy.
That's correct.
You got King's Knight. That's not an airplane.
No. And King's Knight, which is a dope game on NES. You play as Wiz Khalifa, and that's not a lot.
The wizard's name is actually Khalifa.
It's like when you select that, there's what happens is there's 4 different characters, and as you die, you go to the next character throughout the levels. One of them is Wiz Khalifa. It's like if you mix a little Samson on Little Samson, you can swap between characters to help get through stages.
We're the only ones that know that about Little Samson.
Okay.
I didn't even know
For real?
that. I've never played the
Nobody,
game.
It's like a
nobody
shmup
can
that's
afford a
really
little
but,
Samson to like figure that out.
Yeah, I collect for all
Me included.
systems except for the Saturn. I did collect for the Saturn with the trash systems, so I don't anymore.
All right, let's talk to Dylan. This is the part that nobody's gonna want to hear.
Actually, they will. If they
All right, panel's over. Everybody get out.
Next. My name's Dylan. I actually collect a certain developer. I collect Atlas games. And about 5 or 6 months ago, I completed the North American Atlas collection, all 296. So after that, I got kind of lost. Didn't know where to steer myself. And I found myself at obscure sports games.
Great stuff.
That's quite a contrast.
I seriously like at both ends of the
I
spectrum.
like
I'm a
sports and I
nerdy
like
jock.
JRPGs.
I love sports, but I love nerdy stuff too. So it's like,
That's why you get a 100%.
what?
Golf isn't a real sport.
It's a game.
Why don't you walk out that door and shut it behind you? But yeah, that's really me. We've been doing the show for what, 2.5 years? One and a half.
1.5.
It just feels really long because they're not entertaining. If you watch it.
We learned a lot in that last panel about how to be entertained.
Yeah, we did.
Maybe about that.
Because the first thing they say is just don't wing it. Go into it with a plan. Just to let you know, this is 100% winged. There is no plan.
Different than making videos.
You know, I like live because you can steer the conversation certain places. There's a small pressure that you have. Number
It's
one.
interactive.
Yeah, number one, you don't want to use profanity. You know, which we've done a good job of this time until Tony slips up later.
It'll happen.
Apologize in advance.
But we're not playing a Veggie Tales game.
Tony will also end up going to the bathroom about 5 minutes into the show every
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is.
week.
But usually eat Mama
on the
News
schedule.
beforehand. Mama News
Oh,
keeps you regular.
I already said it, but I'm Joe. I don't know if I. Thank you.
That was so sad. I'm glad. I hope they recorded that.
Like one person, yay, Joe!
As the owner of the convention, I've been running ragged this weekend. I don't really like video games anymore.
Can't blame
I used to collect NES. Then I got bored, and now I just collect weird stuff. Namely, TurboGrafx CD, Neo Geo Pocket Color, and really obscure Game Boy Color games. And I don't know what I'm doing with my life.
Y'all should see our game room. It's a hodgepodge of really weird stuff.
I do like
Everyone's like, you own a game store. You probably have this really organized like.
Oh, not at
Oh,
all.
no.
I've been
No.
there. Like I hear
Yeah,
of all
there's
this
just
stuff
boxes
that Joe has all
everywhere.
these amazing titles, and I go in there, I'm like, yeah, I see them, but it's like
But where?
one of them's
You
there,
gotta dig for it.
one of them's up there.
This is what happens when you're a hoarder of all things obscure.
Yeah.
I also like really obscure hardware, from like dev kits to things that were specifically built for hotels. I also have like probably the rarest Halo item in existence, which happens to be a mini fridge. It was like one of 25 that was given away in a 7-Eleven like mail-off giveaway for Halo 3 and to promote Game Fuel.
It's in the shop,
it's
in
in
the
the
back
shop
table.
right
If you guys ever come in, just
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff I like. Yeah. Sorry, I'm tired. Does anybody have any questions? We like Q&A. Gage, if you have something
Anyone
stupid,
else?
I'm firing you.
I'm not getting paid for this.
What's your question?
Do you guys get this stuff at like auctions or what?
Oh,
Or are you like American Pickers? Do you just like go to
No,
people's
you
houses,
just-
knock on their doors? Yeah, I think I have
You
video
know
game.
people and you search for stuff, and then
Through the network of all of your friends, someone might come to you, hey man, I found this really cool thing, so you go check it out, and that's how it is. If you're in it long enough and people know you're in it, and they see something, of course they let you know.
that's extremely accurate. We've all been collecting for so long. I say collecting, but we've all been playing games and buying games for so long that we know so many people. That's how I met Jay and Aaron and Chris via proxy. Was we just wanted some really rare stuff. We ended up going to other places and meeting these people, and then they're like, "Oh, you're the guy that had the dev kit. That guy's into dev kits." Or they're like, "He likes really expensive NES games."
You should tell him the dev kit story.
I don't want to get by.
Hi, Gage.
So, a dev. Does everybody know what a dev kit is? All right. So, for those that don't know, a dev kit is what a video game developer uses. It's a specific piece of hardware that is used to program games and test games on as you're making them. These are not available to the public in 99.9% of scenarios. Sony actually had one for the PS1 called the Net Yazori, I believe. It came out in Japan, so you develop your own games. However, a few years ago, I got a call from a friend that owns a pawn shop. I can't say who or where, but it was not far from here. And he goes, "I have this thing that says confidential property of Nintendo on it. We don't know what it is. Can you come look at it?" So I drive to said pawn shop. It turns out to be a very unique variant of a Wii U development kit. So you know on the Wii U you can use like one gamepad, like the screen thing. This one you could use two on.
And you could hardwire them in.
Yeah, you can hardwire them in. It appeared that the dev kit had code on it where somebody tried to develop a game. However, I did not have certain software to access it. And I am like a software developer, so it was like kind of frustrating. I really wanted to get into that thing. So I had it for like a year-ish.
Yeah, I would say we tried to trade it, and everyone was like, "I don't know what to even do with
Because they're
that."
really expensive, like really, really expensive.
Well, we put it on eBay too, and it immediately got pulled.
Oh.
Nintendo was like, "Nope."
Nintendo of America
You
sent
would
me a
not
cease and
sell this,
desist
like-
within 30 minutes.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
like it was like immediate.
So we went out to Dallas for Retropalooza, which is Jay's convention. It's awesome if you're ever in the Dallas or Houston areas. That convention is fantastic. So we go there. I have the dev kit on my table, and I'm just looking to either trade for something else rare or sell it. I think I had a pretty stupid low price on it compared to what that would normally sell for. And the last day of the convention, like everybody looked at it, like wanted to mess with it because it's cool. Nobody ever sees them. And my buddy Kingsley walked by, and I was like, "You want a dev kit?" He's like, jokingly says, "Well, I'll trade you my entire booth for it." And then he traded me his entire booth for my dev kit. And that's how I wound up with more obscure hardware and about 400 video games. I think my wife was pretty mad because we came back with more stuff than
We went to
brought.
Retropalooza to get rid of some stuff, and then came back with an entire car full, like just shoved
Oh.
in places. Like it was a lot of stuff.
But one of those things that we came back with, like the whole networking thing, this is how this works. Dev kit trade happened. In that trade, I acquired a very unique TV that has a Nintendo built into it. Then people knew I had the TV. All these people that saw that trade go down, Aaron actually filmed it. It was really funny.
Yeah, it exists on YouTube somewhere.
Everybody knew I had a TV, but needed the very specific controllers to go with the TV. And then people started saying, "Hey, I've got these controllers. Will you trade me this stuff?" And that's how all this works. We all network. We all know people, and it goes from there. 99% of it's networking. Flea markets, stuff like that. I mean, we just like games.
Did anybody get anything cool?
Yeah, anybody pick anything up?
Nobody got anything so far?
Nobody
Yeah,
went
here.
to the vendor booths and bought games.
Or bought anything? Did you buy some? Did anyone here? Anyone here buy some art?
He got something. I know he did.
In games, I got Mario 64.
He got Mario 64. He's been after that one for a while.
Glad you were able to find one.
Great game. Clint, did you get anything cool at the convention?
I got a gift card from RadJunk, $50.
Tell us what. So last night,
Yes.
Clint sits down, and we had a Nintendo World Championship challenge. He smoked everybody by double until our friend Pixley sits down and then smokes his score by almost double. Does anybody, how many people in here collect games? Like in any capacity at all?
My
Okay.
brother does.
Okay. Cool. Does anybody have any questions about collecting games or about anything video game related at all?
Yes.
What website is the best website to purchase stuff on, and what is the worst website?
You're about to purchase stuff on or check prices?
Purchase.
eBay.
eBay covers both of those.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, eBay is probably the best to do that.
And the worst.
I don't recommend Amazon because it's simply for your own. Like, it's pull up a game that you like on eBay right now, and pull it up on Amazon, and you'll find out why you're gonna buy it on eBay.
There's one site that I've been using for about 4 or 5 years. It's one of those go on to see if it fits what you're looking for, but it's called GameTradingZone.com, GameTZ.com. You create a profile, and under your profile you create your wanted list, your available list, and basically it's basically like a swap meet online for gamers.
Like
So if you have, say, Mario 64, and you're looking for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on Switch, well, somebody on there has Xenoblade, and you have Mario 64, they want Mario 64, you message them, hey man, you want to work a deal? And you make the deal online. Like I said, I've been using it for 4 or 5 years. I've done probably 200 plus trades. One trade was like combined like $1,000 worth of stuff. So, and it has a rating system. So the more you trade, the more your reputation goes up. And it even warns you, like, if you're a Gold Star member, you've done over 100 trades, and the person you're trading with has 10 trades,
Like, it hurts.
they send first, so you know it's legit, right? So, I mean, it's awesome. People on there have incredible stuff. They have forums that show, like, hey, I have this for trade or I have this for sale, and then they'll post their wanted list, and then you can see if you have something they want. It's really, really cool.
A show of hands again. Who collects?
Everybody collects Todd.
Yeah.
They just don't know it yet.
What system do you
Maybe
prefer?
me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, you. I know Dave. I know what he preferred. I know the Dave pretty well.
Lately, mainly GameCube, PlayStation 2. Those are
Is it a nostalgia thing or something you discovered and just decided
nostalgia and sentimental value. Like I collect games mainly that I played growing up that I had fun.
That's actually how it started with me.
Same here.
I was like, you know what?
I think that's how we all started.
It's like I'm just gonna buy every game that I ever owned as a kid, and then in doing so, I had some friends recommend stuff. Well, one thing led to another, and I got like a whole room full of crap. It sits there, and I think about getting rid of it until you actually pick it up, and you're like, oh, I'll just play it for a second, and you're like, no, I'm gonna keep it.
I got my shelf full.
So what do you collect? You don't?
Tim plays
Yet.
WoW.
I play WoW.
That's so cool.
Not really.
I'm just kidding. I was making
I've actually spent most of my time here this weekend watching BlizzCon, so.
Thanks,
I don't know
Tim.
why
Wait, so you came to our convention to watch another convention remotely?
You're bumming our internet to watch.
Ah, you got the free net. Yeah, I don't even know why.
And now
Yeah,
it's
they
on
got
our
Wi-Fi
stream.
To be fair, Trivia played at BlizzCon and they had Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage doing singing and Jared Dines playing guitar.
Oh, I love Jared Dines.
Yeah, he's playing guitar for Trivia right now while Matt's off doing things with his family. Who else has
For
a
real, Matt
question?
Heffy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The Dave, I know you have a question.
All right, so this one is directed specifically at Sam.
Oh.
And I'm sorry for the awkwardness of this question.
Oh God.
I'm so
All
ready.
Keep it PG.
So, you'll be great. As a woman in the industry, how often do people come into your store and say, oh, there's a cute woman behind the counter. She obviously mustn't know a thing about games, so I can and think they can come in and take advantage of you.
That's a trade secret, and we use that to our advantage.
More often than I care to admit. They always try to catch me slipping. I'll have people come in sometimes and everything that doesn't have a price sticker, hey, how much is that? And I rattle it off at the top of my head because I'm like, an encyclopedia of game prices, it's kind of stupid, like, and they're like, oh, okay, you actually know what you're talking about, wow.
Yeah, it's not so. I think, and this
is my store. And
This
they're
is
like,
outside looking in on this situation because I see it a lot when I'm at the shop, which is not very often. Is that it's not that people question her knowledge of the actual game so much, but it's always on value.
yeah, it's always
On value. Like what the market price is on Mario 64 or something versus something else. You know, it's weird.
Well, no, because they always pick obscure stuff because everybody knows what a Mario costs. I mean, generally, but it's something like I don't know, maybe a Rule of Rose. Nah, probably not that. Maybe like an expensive sports title or something. Like it's that kind of thing. Yeah, you're like, oh, you have an NCAA 14? Oh, this is a sports game. Why this isn't expensive?
So much?
Like,
Why do you even
you
want it?
know, we all know. Come on, but.
Although when you told me how much Tronbon was, I was like, "There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way."
I hate that.
And then you looked it up and you were like,
Trombone.
For what reason?
you cried a few tears.
At
Just
least three.
expensive tears.
Any other Nick?
Yes, Nick.
As shop owners, is there one game that you saw just absolutely plummet in price that made you cringe because you had like 10 of them or something like that? Does that ever happen?
Starship Hector Rescue.
Starship Hector is not that case. I did not. Maybe Jackie Chan's Action Kung Fu on NES.
Where's Dave? You say Jackie Chan 3 times and Dave appears.
Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan, Jackie Chan.
Come in with like Whataburger.
Text him. No.
He's actually unloading all of his stuff.
I don't think that like there's ever been a situation where that's happened specifically to us. I have seen it happen to others. We tend to be pretty tactical on our purchasing. So the things that we have a lot of, the prices fluctuate very little on, but we always need them.
Also, if you remember, so y'all remember when Pokemon Go came out?
Oh, okay.
All right, so gold and silver spiked, and then a lot of people got on it.
Yeah.
And of course, we knew that it was going to trend probably as long as Pokemon Go was trending. What do you remember it getting up to?
So this is insane. So cart only, Pokemon Gold and Silver on eBay, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, we're going for $90 to $100 cartridge only on the DS.
And they typically are like a $40
So
card.
what Sam would do is she would list them on eBay for like $10 less than everybody.
Immediate sale.
I mean, I was getting
that eBay like
notifications
ching
all day
noise when you
long.
sell it was like.
And like that sounds really
nonstop.
crappy, but I was like, this is insane.
And like Pokemon, like the Pokemon Stadium games, normally Pokemon Stadium 1 is like, I sell it for $20 in my shop. And it was up to like 40, 50. Stadium 2 was like 80, $90. And it felt bad almost. I was like,
One thing for me,
this
like
is, I feel like I'm like,
I had the
gouging yourself.
I had the entire Pokemon collection sitting in my game room, and like I said, Pokemon Go spiked and all the games spiked, and I'm sitting there like, that's a lot of money sitting on the shelf. I can sell it now and buy it later for half of what I get for it, and yeah, and so it's like, you don't, when you're a collector, you don't want to tear your collection apart, but when you have an opportunity like that, it's hard to say no.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I got a
We're
stupid
building
amount.
his Pokemon collection right now.
yeah, that's.
Very
Well,
good.
I
Yeah.
did the same thing because when Soul Silver and Heart Gold came out, I bought a copy for Joe for his birthday. It was like $40 or something, and then we had this like minty complete copy that had maybe been played like once, and I was like,
Nope,
I'm
I
so
did not sell
tempted.
that.
He was like, that was a gift for a kid. And I was like, but that's so much money.
That
Like
bubble
Sam-
did eventually pop.
It did pop, but
Yeah, it did. And now the games are back. It
yeah, they're back
normalized.
to normal now.
And like Sam said, it feels bad because like when we're buying games for the store, full transparency, our margins aren't that great on a sale. We just want people to play games, and we think it's cool, and we happen to have a lot of stuff. You see a lot of people like gouging prices and whatnot, and that's crappy.
We want to be fair on our prices.
Right.
Because while we do need to, keep the lights on, we like being able to pay our rent. We still want to sell stuff at a fair
I will say, selling Pokemon for $86 or whatever it was felt awful. But
yeah.
Did it though?
I mean, my wallet felt good, but like,
It could change.
it felt a
watching
little
it sell in
scummy.
3 seconds, I was like, this is insanity.
I got a question. Raise your hand again. Who collects?
I guess I should just start, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't have any games, this question can't be for you.
Well, when I said earlier that everybody collects, they just don't know it yet, you've probably got more than one game, right? And then you keep buying certain things.
I got
that
a
you
question
like.
for Nick. Nick, because this has happened to me and all of us, and we've all had it happen.
Nick's got a stout collection.
All right, so you bought a game, you had never seen it before. You just felt like, man, this seems kind of rare. And then you check a year later, and it doubles in value.
Upside.
What game have you had happen to you? Just shoot up in price.
Complete NES collection.
Mighty Final Fight, I probably paid, I don't know, less than $5. And that was the one, like, I got a long time ago, and it totally spiked up. And I was like, what? That was the one.
Joe, what about you? What game did you buy that you just felt in your soul? And it did. What actually did?
All right. They give me a lot of crap for liking Turbo Graphics, right?
It's the engine.
Well, I got that too. You know that. PC Engine is a Japanese version of Turbo Graphics. Turbo Graphics was like a 16-bit console. Came out in the early 90s, kind of like the Super Nintendo and Genesis. I bought my first Turbo Graphics at a Goodwill with the Turbo Booster Plus, Turbo Tap controller, Bonk's Adventure, Bonk's Revenge, and something else. Keep Courage. I think it was Keep Courage.
I think it has to. It's like Sewer Shark for a second CD. It just shows up.
I paid $9.99 for it.
That's disgusting. All right, so mine is not that
I left
good.
that price sticker on until somebody ripped it off.
Will you explain TurboGrafx prices for those who don't know how expensive TurboGrafx or even what a TurboGrafx is?
It's like that cha-ching sound.
Yeah, it's it.
There are games on TurboGrafx. I think baseline game now is probably like TV baseball or whatever, and I think that game is probably about $20 now. That's the lowest in game. The highest in game is Magical Chase, and that's probably what, $6,000.
Jesus.
And I have a lot of those games. I don't have that one, but I have a lot.
No, you don't.
I have all but like 4.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's that guy doing up there?
I don't know.
Absolutely anything since the
All right, so believe it or not, I'm going to tell y'all. Last night, the Endicon was a great time. Tony was with me. We stayed up real late, and then I woke him up early this morning, and I think he's still just trying to adjust.
I'm still very tired.
Yeah.
That guy needs a beer.
Well,
I don't think so.
And the funny thing about Tony is, and I think this is a trait of younger collectors, they don't really know where they want to go with their collection yet.
Oh,
So
Tony's
Tony started out buying some stuff that was nostalgic for him. I think it was GameCube.
Yeah.
And then he decided he wanted N64. Then he decided whatever. You can walk him through the paces. But Tony has bought and sold like so much stuff. It's ridiculous.
I thought he was on Sega Saturn.
That's what he started
Not
with.
Saturn. Never Saturn.
2.5 weeks ago.
That's what you started with, though. That was like you bought it at a
Yeah.
flea market.
You guys, have you been down the highway to that jungle of junk? That one, like in the flea market, he's got this like huge setup, and it's just piles of just broken, sun-faded games. That's where I bought my Saturn. Didn't know if it worked. Probably didn't. Glad I got rid of it. But
Golf Breeze.
yeah, Golf Breeze.
The booth on the end.
Yeah.
is- You'll probably get some diseases there.
You'll get a nice like
Put a
two-string
tetanus shot
guitar.
after you dig through those
Like
boxes.
hepatitis or
That
something.
guy had a pile of 5200s. He wouldn't sell me one because he said he didn't know if any of them worked. I was like,
Let's take
what
a
are you
chance.
doing with all this stuff?
He's a hoarder.
Bad.
Put him on television.
He won't sell houses.
The point is,
Oh, yeah, that's-
is that probably a good third of the games in my store have been owned by Tony at some point or another.
And now Tony works here, so he technically owns.
And he'll still buy stuff. Oh, I want something different. What do you want, PSP now?
No. PSP.
Vita, what is the same thing? It's the same thing.
Wait, did you see what Dylan's birthday present was?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dylan's birthday was yesterday, so
Yeah.
if we want to give him a happy birthday.
Dylan. He's 37.
Happy birthday.
And a half.
to you.
We threw the convention for me.
Yeah, this was just Dylan birthday call.
Do what?
It's a lie.
They got me a good present, so cake was.
Oh yeah, he got me they got me a limited edition Vita game, Undertale, complete collector's edition.
Ooh.
I was like, that's nice because I'm actually going for Vita too. Like I said, I've completed the Atlas stuff. I'm like, what do I want to go for? Vita's what I'm going for. So they tell me I had something to do. What you got?
Did you get your Pokemon collection back?
I'm like 2 games away. I need Crystal and Fire Red, I think. You said you were going to fix it.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, very, very close. I actually, the ones I kept were my childhood, like red, blue, yellow. I've had those since I was a kid. Those aren't going anywhere.
What's your question?
I bought a virtual boy from you guys a while back. I was wondering, what are you guys' thoughts on VR, where that's headed?
It's better than virtual book.
I tried it. Yeah, very true, very true.
This is funny because I think we all have very opposite opinions.
Well,
Absolutely.
we have different experiences too.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, I bought PSVR right when it came out, super pumped for it. Made me sick as a dog, man. I couldn't do it.
Me
Like
too.
the fast-paced stuff, like one of the demos on the PlayStation demo disc was a Drive Club demo where you're racing in the street.
Oh, God.
Every single sharp turn, I was done. I was sweating bullets. But the slow-paced stuff, like I played the Batman VR game where you're more like a detective solving puzzles. Absolutely incredible, the immersion that you reach out and actually grab things. You have to dip down. They're onto something.
What do you think? What do you think about it?
I love the immersive aspect of it. I've been playing some VR chat recently, so that's been nice.
Do you think it's there yet? You think we're there? You think we're at where you think we're there?
Technologically, yes. In production, no.
Because I'm
I
giving you my
agree with
opinion.
that, yeah.
I like I played it. I played the beginning. What was that for the Resident Evil?
The kitchen demo.
I played the kitchen demo.
Don't play that after you've been drinking.
So here's the thing. I wasn't really ever like, oh my god, VR. I want to play VR until I did the kitchen demo. As far as games that I play like in next gen consoles, I really like scary games and this sort of thing, survival horrors, that sort of deal. So when I played that and with the jump scares in there and the immersion, I was like, man, we're here. But I think it's gonna get too scary, and I probably won't do it.
The one game that gave me the wow moment was I bought Robinson's The Journey on PSVR. It's a story about this person who crash lands on a planet, and basically you're trying to find your other people as opposed to somewhere else on the planet. And it's more like a survival thing. Well, the thing is the planet's inhabited with dinosaurs. And so I'm walking through a cave, and you actually have this baby T-Rex as your companion, which was, I'm just going to say, adorable. Super little tiny T-Rex following you, and then you can make him like do little sounds and stuff. Anyway, so I'm walking through this cave, and I come out of this jungle area, and I'm standing right next to it, and the little T-Rex walks over to this tree that's standing there, and he's walking around it. But it wasn't a tree. It was the leg of a long neck. And so I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I look up, and it's like a 150-foot animal. And it's just the way it looks, its depth, it's incredible. Like that was the wow moment.
I'm with you where it made me sick. I don't know, any of you guys play PSVR, that little cute robot platformer demo? That made me sick. So I'm kind of a baby, I guess. But on the Oculus Rift, there is this bar fight game. So you walk into a bar and you can, drink more beer, and then you just punch people and throw chairs. It's hilarious. So we were at Joe's brother's house playing this game where you look like a total idiot, by the way, too, because you got this thing on your head and you're swinging around. I punched a desk by accident. Like, hilarious, but it's still a novelty to me. You play it for 10 minutes and then you're done. Like, punch a desk and then you're like, well, that's not fun anymore. All right.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Too realistic.
So I've always thought the idea of VR was cool a long time ago because I saw Lawnmower Man as a kid. I was like, this is rad.
Great game on the Super Nintendo, by the way.
Game's hard on the Super. And then when Oculus came out, my brother got the Dev Kit 1. We messed with that. It was cool. Then when PS4, we can like see ourselves in the laptop. It's really freaky.
Yeah, and my boy here got some white thighs.
Then when the PS4 VR came out, Sam got it for me for my birthday, and I thought it was awesome. Played some like there's some game where you fly a spaceship, and that's what I really want. I want things where you sit in the cockpit and drive or fly, things like that.
Elite Dangerous?
Yeah, yes.
Elite Dangerous VR is amazing.
Yeah, so then I bought an Oculus, a newer Oculus later on, and out of all the driving stuff that I play and all the great games that I play, I love Beat Saber more than anything.
I don't know what that is.
It's kind of like Guitar Hero in VR with lightsabers. So there's all these blocks coming at you. And
Oh,
you have to,
I have seen that.
Motions. You look like a moron, but it's fun. VR's cool though. I think we're finally getting there, and it's gonna get the fidelity's gonna get better, the resolution's gonna get better, the tracking's gonna get better.
I think the tracking is what.
Well, the new inside-out tracking that Oculus is putting into the Oculus, whatever, I can't remember the name of the new one. I think that's going to change a lot of things, and it's going to get a lot better from there.
By show of hands, who here has VR? Virtual Boy don't count.
I want to talk about that for a second. The Virtual Boy is not as bad as everyone says it is.
All right, so I owned it. How long did I own mine for?
3 days.
3 days. It was
Literally 3 days.
You traded me.
When you bumped it on.
You
And-
traded me a 64 and like some stuff.
I had an extra 64 and some
and then some, I don't know. You traded me a 64.
and a
so,
Conquerors like that one is using.
I don't know.
I got it. I was like, cool. It'll look good. It's good shelf candy if you're a collector. But I played my game still a little bit, and I played that a little bit, and I was so angry about how much it sucked. And I was like, I want my money back, and so I got my money back.
You sold it to Dylan.
Yeah, for more than I paid for it.
Good Dave.
If anybody wants to try Virtual Boy, I have the entire North American collection downstairs.
You're welcome.
It's like 13 games.
14.
Like, don't clap.
Takes a long time.
It does. Is it complete? Is it a complete collection?
I have all 14.
No, I mean, is it CIB?
No,
CIB.
No.
I do like the boxes for them. I like
Who's
pocket
trying to pay that
I know
much money
someone
for
who has a
CIB Jack
CIB
Bros
Jack
besides
Brothers,
Dylan?
but
This dude did.
Yeah,
You got
it
two.
was expensive.
Dylan has 2 CIB Jack Bros.
So out of the collectors here, what is the most obscure console that you collect for?
Virtual Boy.
No, he probably
No, Dave's got weirder stuff. than that.
AES maybe. Do you have 3DO?
I don't have a 3DO. I have an AES. I've got a
Vectrex.
ColecoVision. I've got an Intellivision. I want a Channel F, and I want a Vectrex.
The Dave's got a lot of pretty cool stuff in the gaming room, by the way. So, if you guys want to check that out. All the weird stuff belongs to this man right here. Get a round of applause for the Dave bringing some cool
Yeah,
stuff.
he brought out his entire hardware collection for the most part. Like it's crazy. But definitely check out the game room. I think we've got time for one more question, if anybody has one.
I have a question for him.
What's your question?
How do you think that we could get more youth into retro gaming?
Come to the shop.
Great question.
YouTube.
Not even kidding. Come to a trade night. So once a month we put on these big events where everybody shows up with all their different stuff. And
That's where the networking we talked about earlier comes in, where people know what you want, and you talk with others, and you just end up getting more and more cool stuff.
it's like a swap meet at our store where we let people buy and sell and trade their own stuff with each other.
It's the first Saturday of every month, by the way.
However, the cool thing is we all just hang out and talk about games, so you can learn a lot, things like that. So
Pizza?
yeah, there's free pizza too.
It's like Hungry Howie's.
What's your question?
It's worse.
I might. What point do you guys get offended as far as haggling?
No, because you can just say no.
Right.
You can just say. I've worked in 2 game stores now, and I've heard it all.
I don't think I ever get offended. there is a point where somebody will haggle you down over 17 cents.
Oh. What about a free PVM?
Yeah.
That really happened. The guy.
That offended me.
Yeah, a guy. I guess a guy had a Sony Trinitron, which is a desirable, CRT TV, and we were very nice. Hey, we got one.
He was like, hey, my Trinitron's going out. He saw mine in the shop. I was like, dude, I don't want the CRT anymore. You can just have it after the convention. Like, free. You just got to carry it out here because that thing weighs like 200 pounds.
That?
Next to it is a PVM, which is a very like high-grade CRT with component in. And he's like,
Expensive.
well, can I have that one? And I'm like, no, you can't have that one. But we literally, I mean, haggling's haggling. I mean, as long as you come to an agreement, whether it's yes or no at the end. That's just
There's actually nothing wrong with trying to get a good deal on something.
Yeah.
And there's nothing offensive as long as you're within the reality.
Yeah.
on
Let
stuff.
me, I have a point to say about that. So the 17 cents thing, I'm like, come on, man. Like,
that
don't
really
be weird.
happened, by the way.
I see this
He's
on
like, can you give
eBay
me
for.
17 more cents for
I
it?
see you have it at 25. You know, I see you $24.30 here. Can you work with me? I'm like, really?
No.
Tell them to buy some more.
But alternatively, I've had people hand me, you know, they give a stack of like, I don't know. Here's an example. It was like, I added up, it was like $120 worth of stuff. And he's like, you take 40? I'm like, man, I paid more than that for all this stuff. Really? What? And I was like, well, you know, let's meet somewhere in the middle here, because that's a little unreasonable. And he just like set the stack down and walked out without saying a word. Because I was like, well, you know, I think, like I said, I was like, you know, I'll do like 100. This is like $130 worth of stuff. I'll work with you. And he just like didn't say a word and just left the shop. And I was like, okay.
I think another.
I think I offended him.
I think another thing that some people just can't grasp is, let's say they have a pretty obscure $50 solid title in their case, and someone wants to come in and trade 50 Madden 2003s for it.
Yes.
It's like,
That's offensive.
yeah, it's like, you know, you have to say no to that.
Yeah.
Because those are going to sit on your shelf for years.
Ever.
How does that feel when somebody comes in with some stuff to trade and you just give them X amount of dollars for stuff that's really not that good, and then they go and pick out a really nice game?
That part I don't feel so bad about. I'm being very transparent today. From a game store perspective, I'm not very much of a business person. I just want people to play games. So I will overvalue trade sometimes, which hint, hint, come to the shop when I'm there.
You guys are very fair.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks. Good luck, because it's always me, and I'm going to give you a bad trade. I'm just kidding.
But legitimately, if somebody brings me a stack of different stuff that I think, okay, there's a good variety of games here, and they build up some trade credit or get some cash, I don't care what they spend it on. It's their trade credit. However, we have had situations where a guy came in with like a stack of demo discs. Some of you may know who I'm talking about. And like literally 15 copies of Madden 2010 or
Just
something.
all scratched up. You know?
And he's like, will you trade me these for that trombone? And I'm like, no.
No, thank you.
So, but Nick, I got time for a quick one. This
is quick, like rattle it off.
All right.
Game you know that's terrible, but you love for nostalgia reasons.
Captain Skyhawk.
Oh, I gotta think. I don't know.
Anything
I like good games.
I didn't know what made you nostalgic.
Well, that's
You're like, oh, I like it, but
For me, it would have to be probably just like a sports game that I grew up with. And nobody cares about. I'm sorry.
Bro, we know what it is.
What?
I forgot. No, the pool game we play.
Oh,
Side Pocket?
Minnesota Flats.
Minnesota Fats with all the Massey.
Yeah. Minnesota Fats pool.
That-
Side Pocket, yeah.
For me, it's Top Gun. I played it a lot as a kid. I can land the plane every time. If you're curious, I'll do it downstairs to show y'all. I've done it every time. I've never messed up.
I don't know, because I like good games. I don't know.
Are you smarter than a fifth grader on PS1?
Tony's back.
I don't think I like that.
Scooby-Doo game on the GameCube. I grew up playing it as a kid, and it sucks, but I love it.
Oh, I got one. Shrek 2 on the PS2.
Oh.
That's
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot's a good game.
Hey guys, thank you for sitting through this miserable panel. Sorry, we're all tired.
Bless you.
Next up in here is NES Maker, which is something I support wholeheartedly in a lot of different ways. I may or may not own their forums. But if you're interested in NES games or making them, come check that out in just a couple minutes. I got to get them set up. Be sure on your way out to stop by the vendor hall. We got a lot of great vendors in there. And then the game room is. How's everybody feel about the game room this year? Good?
Really good.
All right, cool.
Another round of applause for Dave for bringing all the great
Yeah,
stuff.
thanks, Dave.
We're gonna raffle it all off at the end of the day.
And then buy Taco Bell.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I gotta pee so bad.
I gotta turn off the.
TMI. We were still live when you said
Just so
that.
you know, I've been asked twice this con if Tony and Joe are brothers.
Of course you have.
Their love
Their father and son.
I haven't told anybody.